I genuinely think that this is the easiest way that most people can save the most money with ChatGPT. Over the past year, I have built my entire workflow around AI. And I'm not talking about replacing my job or writing all of my content with robots. I'm talking about taking the annoying parts of my life and making them way less annoying with a tool that's kind of designed to do exactly that. So today I'm breaking down my actual workflows, the ones that I use every single day, from schoolwork to meal planning to running a podcast. Make sure that if you have a workflow that I don't get into in this video or something that you use AI for every single day, put it in the comments. Right. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, I pay for ChatGPT Plus. I know, nobody wants another subscription. Here's what changed my mind. It actually pays for itself. Throughout this video, I'm gonna call out every time AI replaces a paid app or service that I use to spend money on. Because if you do this right, AI doesn't just save you time, it saves you real money. So let's start with what might be the most obvious one for some of you watching this video: schoolwork. When I get a new assignment, I don't open a blank Word doc and stare at it for an hour. Instead, I drop the full assignment prompt into ChatGPT and ask it to break the project into steps. During the research, I ask ChatGPT to help me find supporting sources or strong counterarguments. It pushes me to think sharper. When I'm brainstorming, it actually floods me with ideas. Then I toss them all into messy bullet points and say, organize this into an outline, but keep my tone. Once I've got a structure, I even ask it for a 60-second summary that I can record as a voice memo, and it turns my notes into tiny little study podcasts that I can then listen to on my drive into work. That was schoolwork, but maybe the most underrated way that I use AI is staying organized. I can ask Google Gemini to scan all my current projects. It has access to my calendar so I can see when I have school stuff due, work goals, personal deadlines. It can build me a clean weekly schedule, and then I can say things like, create a calendar file for each event with reminders a day before and 30 minutes before. It will literally give me an ICS file. I can drag it onto my calendar and text it to my coworkers. They can just tap, synced. No back and forth, no, does Thursday at 3 work? Just added it to your calendar. I don't necessarily need to create a new calendar event for everything that I'm going to do with somebody. But when it comes to planning an event or a meeting with one guy the week after next, after a lunch that we'd already rescheduled, sometimes it gets a little hard to keep track of life. And I don't really expect everybody to click on the event and add it to their calendar every time I send it to them. But for a couple, they might. And then those people have the added benefit of having an event on their calendar that they can then look at and plan their week. It has saved me in the past, and I think it's something I'm going to continue to do. With the natural language processing of a large language model, you actually get better natural language processing than most of the calendar apps and stuff that boast it as one of their features. If you have Google Gemini on your phone, add the widget to your home screen and you can click on the voice conversation button, and you can literally tell it, remind me to take the trash out every Tuesday at 8 p.m. And it just makes that calendar event. There might not be anything more annoying than, as a grown adult, forgetting trash day. And I haven't in a long time. Mostly because of AI. Have you ever had somebody give you something to do or an event that you needed to be at, and then you forget to write it down? Or even worse, you remember that they scheduled it with you, but then you have to call them back or text them and ask, hey, when was that thing again? And you never want to have to do that. Now, I literally make a note in Google Gemini and it adds it to my calendar every time. For the scheduling benefits, it's almost second to none. But during my day job as a teacher, I teach basic electronics. If my students are using AI to become more prepared and more efficient, then I want to meet them at that level and use AI to give them better, more engaging course content. ChatGPT helps me write lesson plans. I'll ask for step-by-step explanations, real-world examples, and quiz questions, and then I'll tailor it for my class. I have absolutely seen an increase in general understanding of the course material that I teach ever since I started incorporating AI into my preparation for the class. It's like having a preparation partner or a lab partner that speaks fluent circuit theory, but still lets me do the connecting and the teaching. The creativity is mine. The grunt work, that part's automated. Okay, this next one's actually my favorite though. I host late night baseball. It's a podcast, it's about Major League Baseball, and ChatGPT is basically my entire stats department. I feed it game logs, metrics, spreadsheets full of baseball statistics and data, and it takes that mountain of just raw, unfiltered information and can give me trends, it can give me insights, it can even give me really niche, naturally language processed answers to questions. So if I ask it, how is Aaron Judge in the 8th inning or later in a tie game when his team needs him to come through the most? As long as I have uploaded all of the statistical data that Aaron Judge has over the last couple years, which is relatively easy these days on sites like Baseball Savant or Fangraphs or things like that, then ChatGPT has all that it needs to make really educated insights on exactly how good Aaron Judge is in those situations. And on top of statistical research, it'll even generate like show notes and talking points so that me and my co-host are more prepared to give a better episode to our viewers. It'll even generate like the description for the video itself. It'll link stuff for me. It'll do all of that for me. Way less grunt work, less typing for 20 minutes while I craft the perfect YouTube description. Here's a workflow I love. I send articles to Instapaper. Instapaper then syncs them to my Readwise. My Readwise syncs to my Obsidian, and Obsidian takes all those articles and makes them markdown files, which I can then upload to ChatGPT 10 at a time and get the most up-to-date statistical analysis, opinions, thoughts, talking points, all broken down for me in bullet form with citations, credit given to all of the different people that wrote the articles in like 20 minutes of prep in what would normally have taken hours. If I spent money to pay somebody to do the work that ChatGPT does for me for podcast preparation, we're talking easily $50 to $100 a week in production assistant work or research assistant work. But I'm a dad. I'm a husband. I live in a house with people who depend on me to do things like go grocery shopping. And even there, ChatGPT has made my life significantly easier. For groceries, I'll say build a $200 grocery list for 2 adults and 2 kids, 3 meals a day, 1 week. It sorts by category, gives me recipes, and even adjusts for what's already in the fridge. I ask for Instant Pot recipes, and it nails the timing. It'll even tell me when I need to take chicken out of the freezer to thaw if I ask it. Oh, you want to cook that for dinner tonight? Cool. Put it in a pot of cold water at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It should be thawed by 5. And like $200 a week in groceries actually sounds like a lot of money, right? What if I told you that the national average for a 2 adult, 2 children household to spend on groceries in a month is $1,000? So right there, ChatGPT saves me $200 a month by just making my grocery workflow super streamlined. I don't waste as much food. We eat most of the stuff that we make because we know that we're picking out of a list of recipes and we just pick our favorites. It helps me more efficiently meal prep, and I can take lunches to work instead of spending money out. I genuinely think that this is the easiest way that most people can save the most money when it comes to preparing your kitchen and your meal eating process with ChatGPT. There's just a lot of inefficiency in the way that we go to the grocery store and spend money. And if you just incorporate ChatGPT into this workflow, you're going to save yourself hundreds of dollars. Not to mention, I'm not impulse buying as many snacks or wasteful food. It's easily $20+ a week, if not as much as $50 to $100 a week that I save just by using ChatGPT. And going right along with nutrition is fitness. For fitness, I was using an app called Runna. It's $20 a month and it builds you running plans and prepares you for your fitness goals. Well, I stopped paying for Runna a while ago because I can just use ChatGPT to build workout plans. Just yesterday, I was driving to the gym. Something came up that actually shortened my lunch period from 2 hours to 1 hour, which means that I only had like 30 minutes to actually work out. So instead of the hour plus long lift that I was planning on doing, I literally fired up ChatGPT, started a voice conversation, and asked it for a 30-minute workout. It gave me a 5-minute warm-up, 20 minutes of absolute insanity, 5-minute cool down. And I was soaked in sweat, burned like 350 calories. I felt like I'd earned something that day. And I didn't even know what I was doing when I was driving to the gym. I didn't know what the workout was, but what it gave me was so solid, I didn't even tweak it. And then when I'm done with the workout and I go have my protein shake or the lunch that I prepped with the help of ChatGPT, if I want to log those macros, oftentimes I gotta have an app like MyFitnessPal that I'm spending $10 to $15 a month to scan barcodes and put in weights and stuff like that. What if I just told ChatGPT I ate 250 grams of chicken breast tenderloin. It'll tell me how much protein's in that. It'll tell me how many carbs are in the rice. It'll tell me all of these different things. Put them into an Apple Note. And instead of spending all this money on an app like MyFitnessPal to track something you could track yourself, now ChatGPT is giving you all that information for free. Or at least for that $20 subscription. That's $40 a month in app fees alone between Runna and MyFitnessPal that ChatGPT saves me. Okay, one of my favorite new habits that I just started within the last couple weeks is using ChatGPT's voice mode for journaling. I'm one of those people that I cannot pick up a journaling habit. I have so many notebooks, I have so many systems, I've tried bullet journaling, I've tried just morning pages, I have tried so many different ways of trying to record my thoughts in my life in a forum that I'll be able to access later. Even when the Apple Journal app came out, I tried using that and I just didn't really vibe with typing on my phone instead of writing onto paper. And then I saw the voice memo function, which does generate a transcript, but it's not really contextually accurate as to how your voice and what the words you were saying actually mean when you're talking to the voice memo. So what I started doing was talking to ChatGPT's voice mode. It understands context. It understands natural language processing. So it can actually make me an almost perfect transcript of my conversation, and I can just copy paste that into the journaling app. So now I've accomplished ease of access and ease of input, and then the really cool reading off the page output of reading from the journaling app later, because I don't mind reading from the journaling app. It was just the typing portion that I didn't really like. And now I don't have to spend any sort of money on an app like Day One or any of those other journaling apps. So there's another $10 a month that it saves. This method of talking to ChatGPT is perfect for people who want to reflect, but never find time to actually sit and write. Even if I don't do it every day, it's definitely such a low barrier to entry that I find myself doing it many times a week. It's all about balance. I find that I'm more effective and happy when I have a very streamlined workflow with really ironed out methods of accomplishing my goals. I find that if I have a really robust calendar and to-do list, that I'm more effective and happier because of it. I find that if I am doing everything I can to save as much money in the margins as possible, then I am less stressed out at the end of the day. I don't use ChatGPT to do my thinking. I use it to make thinking easier. So all of that stress, honestly, calories that I burn trying to make my life efficient and trying to make it so that I'm as successful as I possibly could be, I offload all that organizing and formatting and summarizing so I can spend more time on things like curiosity and creativity and connection. ChatGPT isn't a shortcut, it's a multiplier. And honestly, it's a pretty budget-friendly method of accomplishing all that in the end. That's how I actually use ChatGPT. Teach, prepare podcasts, track habits, plan meals, work out, stay sane. It's not magic. It's just a flexible tool that saves me hours of time and around $60 a month in apps, subscriptions, and unnecessary spending. So I'm curious, how are you using AI? Or what would you try if you had the right workflow? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you want me to dive deeper into any of these methods, let me know that too, because I have a feeling there's some of these topics that I covered that we could really dive into. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.